was there right after Grandmama and I put out the camera last week. That's all we've got. Gobbler and a few deer. But, well, we came down to check the trail cams for the first time this year. Turkey season's about 3 weeks away, and I've got 3 cards, and I had 2 cameras out, so I'm going to clean this one off before I so I can go swap it out with my other camera that I've got. Put out a third one, but hey, check this out. I got one gobbler. Not too much on the beard, but probably 2-year-old bird. So maybe he'll be talking on opening day. That's my one and only hope right now.
Yeah.
Well, I pulled my trail cams from over at the conduit stand, and the largest food plot that I've got 2 jakes, 1 gobbler, and 1 hen. So don't really have a whole lot going on here last year. I mean this year. Last year I had a flock of about 5 jakes, and then I saw 5 2-year-old birds during the deer season, and they have vanished. But that happens here a lot at Moonshine Lodge. I hunt every weekend. I'll get 1 or 2 encounters. I think there's some fields down 208 that I think they like to just migrate to, and I'm on the tail end of their loop, so I'll get 1 or 2 chances a year if I stick it out. But I'm over at the boat seat. If you can see that stand behind me, I'm trying to see where is it in the background viewfinder. Oh, locked behind a tree. Anyway, that's the stand I call the boat seat. Little box stand there, and I have seen turkeys over here. Matter of fact, this is where I saw the 2-year-old birds. The 2-year-old birds last year. I mean during deer season. So food plot looks good. Don't see them strut down there too much. Sometimes I'll see them coming through there. I've got a lot of clover mixed in on that, so they like to come out in that sometimes. The deer really love it. It's over this hill, and they feel, I think, secluded, and it's the soil there is really good. So I'm gonna go check my trail camera over here, and then next week is opening day, so I'm gonna have to figure out a game plan. Last time I pulled trail cams a couple weeks ago, I had 4 shots of him over. He was here 4 times and only hit one of my main areas 1 time, so I may have to adjust my plan this year. Maybe hunt over here just a little bit more, but hopefully they'll be talking and telling me where to go. Alright, let me get on here before I walk into some briars while I'm talking. Because, as you can see, there's a lot of them. Probably wind up having to sit next to this tree right here, so I've kicked down some of this brush and stuff that's in front of me. Got a pretty open shot if they'll come through that little sendero right there. I see them crisscross up in here sometimes, so I can't get any further back because who wants to sit in all those briars? So that tree with the ground blind can be a little close, but I better sit still. I've got a game plan though. We'll see if it works next week. Alright, it's getting close to dark, kind of dusk, and I'm on my way down to Moonshadow Lodge for the opening day of turkey season. The advantage of living so close to the property is I'm not going to get down there and try to pull trail cams just out of fear of spooking the turkeys. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it get dark, not worried about roosting them, go down and pull the trail cams and then make my plan from there. I've got two places kind of cleared out, and a lot of the other little senderos and things like that are starting to get thick. So I've got a couple of open areas that I've gotten turkeys out of in the past, so that's where I've got my camera sitting, and we'll go see what we have on film and make a game plan from there. But all right, I'm on the road. All right, I think this is the last thing to put in my turkey bag, my Melvin Newman box call. I got all my other stuff packed in here, reorganized. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. I always feel like I'm forgetting something. Made by Melvin Newman, 1997. So I've had this. This is 21st year, so hopefully it'll bring me some luck. It's legal in every state now. But I pulled the trail cams, and still have that one gobbler that has showed up a couple of times, and I only had 11 pictures, and 2 of them were me. That takes me down to 9 pictures, and some of those were deer. So I haven't had a lot of activity here, but that's the way it goes. It hit or miss. They sometimes come in, and then you won't hear anything for a whole week. You won't hear anything the next week, and then they'll be there. So I feel like I'm kind of on a 3-week rotation. So I'm hoping this is the 3rd week, so I can go home and get ready for the Piedmont. But anyway, tomorrow's opening day. I'm about to get some shut eye, and think I'm all packed up and get some rest and be ready to go in the morning. All right, it's opening morning of the 2018 turkey season here in Georgia. I think I've got everything packed up. I always feel like I'm forgetting something, but my turkey vest is probably 20 pounds, so got the golf cart all set up here, and I'm fixing to go get set up. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. If not, I'll just have to wing it. Haha, I got that. Thanks, Dad. Handmade Melvin Newman box call. My dad gave me back in 1997. Still carry it to this day. Best call I've ever had. And at my age, Veronica gave me these. So my dad and Veronica really helping me out here. Gobbler down on East Creek. Back over that way. I'm going to see if I can hear him without the game ears on. Yeah, he's back up that way. And normally we're just over here. He's kind of in an odd spot. I think he's over by that dove field. I saw some trucks on the other property, so I'm hoping he doesn't call the other guys to the dove field before he gets to me. Looked like he was going after my funky chicken. Okay, it's opening day of the 2018 Georgia turkey season, and I came down to Moonshadow Lodge last night, waited till it got dark, checked my trail cams, had this guy on there a couple of times, and so I set up down on the conduit plot this morning. There's a creek off to my left here that runs the length of the property pretty much, and turkeys normally roost on there. But this turkey, he was gobbling back up this way, a little different than when I normally hear them. And so I got out my Melvin Newman box call and did a little soft calling to him. And, you know, sitting there, had the camera pointed this way, kind of expected him to maybe come down the length of his field. Instead, I've got a graveyard over here. He circled around the graveyard, and when I saw him, he was about 5 yards outside my window. I didn't have my hat or my gloves on, didn't have my face mask on, and so I just ducked down to the ground blind and slipped that on, and he went on past me while I was ducked down doing that. And I looked up, and he'd crossed the logging road here, and he saw my funky chicken, and I guess he fluffed up there, and he was wanting to show him who was bigger. And so he came around over here, and I shot him. You can see the feathers right here. I shot him this close off my decoys, so I didn't, I guess he was so close, it was such a tight pattern that at least I didn't shoot my decoys. But in any event, turns out he's looks like he's about a 2-year-old bird, about a 9-10 inch beard there, probably inch on the spurs. So I will take him. I have a Piedmont permit next weekend, and so from here on out it's gravy. So very good opening morning for me here in Georgia. Anyway, we'll go see if we can pack this thing up and get him taken care of, and I am one happy camper. All right, this past deer season I got my very first golf cart, and we have dubbed it, or my father has dubbed it, the Green Machine. And Jesse got to initiate it by taking out the first buck on it, a buck we call Swoop. And so this spring, it's only fitting that I get to initiate it by taking out the first Gobbler. And he ain't got no name. I'm normally used to toting them over my shoulder for a couple of miles. This is going to be quite relaxing now, and the path that I have to go out is a lot more clear than the path we took Jesse's deer out on. So anyway, this makes hiking a whole lot easier. All right, up through those trees, not sure if you'll be able to pick this up, but there is an old graveyard, started back in the 1800s, pre-Civil War, and went all the way up through the 1964, I think was the last date we saw on any of the headstones. And I believe that turkey was roosted this morning down through that bottom right over here, and that's not entirely unusual. They normally are a little further back this way, but I heard him gobbling on the roost down in there, so I did some light calling, and on my way out on the golf cart I noticed something that was not here this morning. Where all those leaves are fluffed up there, I think he came across that road, he went down through here where all these leaves are fluffed up, and then where that old deer stand is, right over here. I saw some more going that way, and then my blind is in the back corner over here, and I left some wispy grass basically for deer hunting. They like to come into this field better when I leave a lot more edge cover. But over in these pines over here, it's a lot more open. So I think he, instead of coming down the East Creek over here where they normally walk this ridge, he came and circled me this way. He wrong sided me. I have never had one come in that way like that. So turkeys, Betty Duke always used to tell me, turkeys do turkey stuff, and he wasn't wrong. All right, let's get this guy back and get him cleaned up.